get to know this capsule name. And again, it will be the last time that a Dragon capsule will be named. After this, the fleet is set, and they will no further build Dragon capsules. Alex, does this include also Cargo Dragon, by the way?
For the stat,
Like, they will not build any Cargo Dragons anymore, right? As well.
yeah, that's one of the things that, you know, from the ISS cargo operations standpoint, they really don't need that many dragons, cargo dragons, right? So they've only built 3 of them.
Absolutely, and at this point, 7 minutes to go, the Merlin engine chill has begun.
Engine chill
And
has started.
thank you so much for confirming that. And with that, I also want to quickly thank Sawyer here for all the commentary so far. And I will send you off here now to cover this launch with your eyes and camera.
Thank you so much. This is always exciting with crew launches. The anticipation, you could feel it in the air, and not just because of the humidity. I will talk with you all after launch and landing.
Absolutely. So Alex, just you and me now for 6.5 minutes. We see the clock still ticking down.
Heart racing now.
Yeah. I usually I got the usual warning from my smartwatch being like, did you try meditation? I'm like, yeah, that's crew launch. So yeah, it's happening. 6 minutes from now. Alex, what's engine chill? What are they doing right now with these engines?
Yeah, they're chilling down those turbo pumps on the Merlin engines, getting them ready for operations. In less than 6 minutes from now, there's going to be a lot of liquid oxygen flowing through those pumps on the Merlin engine, so they need those to be conditioned for that very cold liquid oxygen. They're also now preparing for that Stromback retract in about a minute or so. They're also doing all of the final configurations, getting those essentially final checks on the flight termination system, getting, you know, things like Dragon going into internal power. That's going to be very soon, that transition. They're going to be doing, you know, things like guidance systems being lined up and everything. So lots of different things happening in the last 5 minutes of the count here. So you'll hear many different callouts about those events happening very quickly, so don't be surprised about some of those.
Yep, absolutely.
Tanks are pressurizing for Stromback retract.
Here we go.
Dragon is in configure for terminal count.
And that's the other one. Getting prepared that Dragon for heading into the final count, and also transitioning that to internal power as well. We may hear that Stromback retract call out in just a few seconds from now.
You can see that strong right there, and
Stromback retract
there
has
you can
started.
There we go.
should see these clamps opening. Any second now.
We will also hear soon probably the end of liquid oxygen load on the first stage, and then on the second stage as well. Some of the
There they are.
the final, there we go. Some of the final TVC checks as well, those gimbaling, they sort of wiggle a bit, the engines on the first and second stage as well, trying to make sure that that works. Look at that.
And wonderful.
I see some of the Starship hardware in the background.
Oh, true.
Interesting to see.
Nothing new though there, I think.
There's a few things that are new to me, but it's not the point of this live stream now. But there we go. That's the
SBU
Stromback
on Monday.
retract. Yep. Starbase out day next week.
3 minutes 15 seconds. As this Falcon 9 is about to wrap up everything in terms of propellant loading, and then it's just a matter of conditioning and final steps before launch.
Stage 1,
Let's
lock
see
close
that.
complete.
Here we
There
go.
we go. That's stage 1 wrapping up.
Heading into the final minute, we will also have Falcon 9 in startup at T-minus 1 minute. That's when the onboard computers take over
Dragon
control
is
of
in
the
terminal
countdown.
count and is on internal power.
There we go.
There we go.
That's really good. Really good.
So that Dragon vehicle is now completely autonomous.
Yep. And they should also be wrapping up that liquid oxygen load on the second stage very shortly. We'll see the comeback of the Stromback vents as well. We'll hear those gas closeouts as well on the callouts. And
Yeah,
hopefully...
the purge of the Strongback to not ignite your Strongback.
Exactly. And hopefully, roughly 45 seconds before the launch, we'll have that go from the launch director and also from the crew, because this time around, there's crew on board. It's not a Starlink or anything, right? It's a Crew Dragon. There's people on board, so they'll be able to also give their final go.
Complete.
There we go.
And with that, it's just a matter of the final steps here.
Dragon
Again,
auto
40
idle.
seconds.
There we go.
40
Auto idle.
seconds from now, the Falcon 9 will take over the launch countdown. And then it's just on the launch vehicle to execute the mission.
Expect loud venting.
There it is.
– 15 seconds to auto sequence. To start up, actually.
Yep. They'll say something like Falcon 9 is in startup, Dragon is in countdown. It's usually the call out.
FTS is armed, Falcon 9 is at startup and is now controlling.
Dragon is in countdown.
There we go.
There they are.
As predicted, and we are now getting standby for the go for launch, which
Dragon,
should be any
SpaceX,
second.
go for launch.
AX4 is go for launch.
And that is everything. Everything is good to go. 30 seconds from now, you will see at the bottom of the Falcon 9 a green flash that will ignite the 9 Merlin engines. And from there on out, it's flight time.
15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and lift off. Go
Stage
Axiom,
1 Alpha.
go SpaceX.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Power and telemetry nominal. Stage 1 Delta.
Max Q. Vehicle is supersonic.
Stage 1 throttle up.
Stage 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
And back chill underway.
Here we go. Falcon 9 performing so far what looks to be a perfect ascent for the Axiom 4 mission. And we have about a minute left in first stage flight.
So far, so good.
Yep, you can now see the plume expansion. So your rocket is
And-
going through the less dense part of the atmosphere. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember that this one is a return to launch site landing for the booster. So at main engine cutoff, the two stages will separate. The second stage will ignite its Merlin vacuum engine, but also the first stage will flip back and start its boost back burn. So watch out for that in just a few seconds from now.
Beautiful plume there.
Wow, the blue.
And there's
Here
the
we go.
stage shutdown.
Nico. Stage separation confirmed. Stage 1 boost back startup from that ignition.
Whoa,
There's
look
the
at
boost
that.
back.
The Falcon Nebula. Look at
Ah,
that.
that's beautiful. See both stages
Stage
there.
2 Alpha.
Copy 2 Alpha.
That's one of the abort modes. That's fine, that's normal.
And they
But
just
look at
call
that.
out what would be the abort mode as of this moment.
Yep. That was cool.
Yep, that interaction between the two plumes looked amazing.
First stage still returning. There we can see that boost back burn still ongoing, but should be shutting down very soon. There's the cool out.
And next up will be the entry burn, which will slow down the Falcon 9.
Another call out that we may hear every now and then, about 1 minute intervals. Should be coming up soon, the first one. I'm gonna wait for that.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
There it is.
Dragon copies, nominal trajectory.
And so from now on
That-
until they reach orbit, they're gonna be doing these call outs every minute, essentially.
And that's what we want to hear. That means everything is good and normal.
Mm-hmm. Nice, look at that.
Wonderful.
Powering their way to orbit. They probably got a little taste of 0G during that stage separation, right? As the engine shut down and then they switched to the Merlin vacuum engine.
Yeah, now they're
But
pulling
they're-
about, what, 2 Gs?
Yeah, they're going to be building up. One of the good things of that MVAC engine is that it throttles down, so you know they can keep those Gs. I think to a limit of 3.5. They limit that, so they'll be able to not be super stressed. But that only happens towards the end of the burn, so we're still early in that burn. Right now will be as you said, probably around
Dragon,
2 Gs or
SpaceX,
something like
nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies,
There's
nominal trajectory.
that. There's that second call out.
Once every minute, like clockwork.
Yep, and they do that to keep the crew aware, right? Like we were seeing earlier before the launch when they said gas closeouts, expect loud venting and things like that. They keep the crew alert so that they are not, unaware of what is going on, or like, if something were to go wrong, they at least know that, what they just heard or what they just felt, it was not nominal because they were not aware of that, right?
And SpaceX, of course, has quite an experience at this point with launching crew, especially also more like first spaceflight crews. And they work a lot on the astronaut experience and making sure they understand and they know and they get the proper data they need. That's
Dragon,
at least what I
SpaceX,
gathered
nominal
from-
trajectory.
there it
That's
is.
the third one.
Dragon copies, nominal trajectory.
And coming up is the entry burn of the first stage, which will be Booster 1094 with the second entry burn of its career.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And again, this one will land on LZ1. And
Ooh, look at
there
that.
it is.
Ground views of the entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn
There's-
shutdown.
There's
There's
that
the Falcon
shutdown.
9 in here.
Somebody asked, during ascent, we saw a few flames going up. The rocket, roughly around the time of max Q, that's normal. That's essentially sort of back pressure from going too fast through the atmosphere, essentially. It sort of pulls like a little bit of a vacuum, so some of the flames travel up a little bit,
Dragon,
sort of around the
SpaceX,
landing
nominal
legs.
trajectory.
Nice.
Here we
Stage
go.
1 FTS.
Dragon copies, nominal trajectory.
But yeah, that sort of effect is normal. If you go watch, for example, a Saturn V launch, it's even more dramatic.
And at this point, we are approaching the landing burn. So about 4 kilometers on the journey of B1094.
Second time. There we go.
There it is. Like a small star landing.
131 landing burn. And
Stage 1 landing leg deployed. Stage 2 FTSS saved. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Touchdown! B1094 for a second time. Lands at this time on
Ooh.
LZ1.
did I
Huh?
hear the sonic booms? Or was it just me?
Think we might have heard them. We'll get them on the replays. And just a few more seconds away here from Seco 1.
Stage 2.
Probably hear
Can see
Sean.
them,
Nice.
can now see them traveling about 23,000 kilometers an hour. Quite fast.
Yep. You can see
G-force
there the
four.
G-force 4.
Yeah.
SpaceX Dragon, Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
There we go. Final abort zone. If they were to abort, but obviously very close now to second engine cut off.
You can see it throttling.
And back shutdown.
And shut
we go.
down G-force to 0, and they are in 0G.
SpaceX Dragon. We have a nominal orbit insertion.
Nice.
There we go.
Nominal orbital
That's-
insertion of SpaceX, and we had an incredible ride uphill, and now we like to set our course for the International Space Station aboard the newest member of the Dragon fleet, our spacecraft named Grace. Grace is more than a name. It reflects the elegance with which we move through space against the backdrop of Earth. It speaks to the refinement of our mission, the harmony of science and spirit, and the unmerited favor we carry with humility. Grace reminds us that spaceflight is not just a feat of engineering, but an act of goodwill. Benefit of every human, everywhere. Over to you, Shook.
Launch escape system disarmed.
वाटर राइड नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों वाटर राइड 41 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना गर्व से चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत की इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you, Chuck. Drogie Polki i Polacy, dziś robimy ogromny krok w stronę przyszłości technologicznej Polski. Polski opartej na nauce, wiedzy i wizji. Niech ta misja będzie początkiem epoki, w której nasza odwaga i nieustępliwość kształtują nowoczesną Polskę. Dla nas i dla przyszłych pokoleń. Kosmos zawsze jednoczył ludzi. Zabieram dziś z Ziemi cząstkę każdego z was. Waszej siły, waszej nadziei, waszego zaufania. W kosmosie nie jestem sam. Reprezentuję nas wszystkich. Z całego serca dziękuję wam za zaufanie. Kosmos dla wszystkich. Space for everyone. And with that, over to you, Thibaut.
Stanisław, 15 millió magyar emelt ma idáig. Támogatásotok olyan, mint a szürke hamu alatt nyugvó parázs. Belül csendben ízzik, de ha fát dobnak rá, egyként lángol. Hálás és büszke vagyok, hogy a hazánkat képviseltem. Családomnak és barátaimnak köszönöm, hogy ti vagytok a legerősebb támaszaim. A ti hangotok hangosabb, mint a rakétánk, erőtök nagyobb, mint a gravitáció. A világűr mindenkié, a Föld pedig egyetlen. Mi a bolygónk 4 különböző pontjáról indultunk, de társakként, barátokként érkeztünk ide. A mi születésünk a tiétek is. Köszönöm mindenkinek szerte a világon, akik hozzájárultak ez a gyönyörű naphoz. Egynek minden nehéz, soknak semmi sem lehetetlen. Go X4!
Beautiful to hear all 4 crew members talk there. And yeah, we have a name. Who I think we called it. I think we called it earlier with Grace.
You did, yeah.
I'm happy about this. Sorry, I think we have you back. I will
Maybe.
I'm not sure if we're sorry back.
I'm back now. Can you hear me now?
Dragon SpaceX.
Hello.
On behalf of the entire SpaceX launch team, thank you. It's been a privilege to work with you so far, and we're excited for you to have a safe flight and a safe return home. Good things come to those who wait. Godspeed to the maiden crew of Grace.
And we thank you all as well.
I think now you can talk, Sawyer. How was that?
Okay. That was absolutely spectacular. I mean, the sound tonight was so punchy. You could really
Dragon
feel it with
SpaceX,
the
we
humidity.
appreciate
in the
all of
air.
those words on your maiden voyage of grace and an excellent capsule name. Capsule activation is progressing, so we had a nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts. We're proceeding through nose cone deploy now.
Grace copies.
I want to, at this point, also congratulate Next Spaceflight over Wikipedia, because Next Spaceflight already has the capsule as Grace. Wikipedia does not. Just mentioning that.
My spreadsheet is also changed already. Just saying.
So
I'm not advertising it.
Go ahead, Sawyer.
I heard a Quindar tone. I wasn't sure. But yeah, that was absolutely spectacular. Like I was saying, the punch from the sound tonight was unbelievable. You could really feel it. It was such clear skies, and the Falcon Nebula tonight was unbelievable. What a show that booster put on, and what a show that upper stage put on with that in particular. And tonight, the way that the air was, the fact that you could hear an echo of the sonic booms off the VAB. So not a VAB squeal, but a VAB sonic boom echo. Max and I both looked at each other after that, because that was extremely unique.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these replays that are coming, because I think there will be some very punchy ones.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I love the name choice here. I really think that's a wonderful addition to the Crew Dragon fleet. So yeah, so far so good. But of course, just the beginning of the journey of Crew Capsule Grace, as they have about 24 more hours of traveling until they are at their International Space Station. So still quite some journey to do here. How does this actually work, Alex? What will they do? Adjust burns and everything? Like, how do they get to the ISS from?
Yeah, right now they are in our orbit lower than the ISS, which means they are orbiting the Earth actually faster than the ISS. So eventually they'll catch up, and what they're going to be doing is sort of raise their orbit little by little, and sort of play catch up with the ISS essentially in the next 30 hours or so. That's sort of how orbital mechanics sort of works here. But yeah, that's, you can see there our first replays of this from Port Canaveral.
Love the reflections there.
Yeah. Some people now mentioning, now has the Wikipedia article changed. Yeah. Now they do.
So
Yeah,
Wikipedia about half the speed of next spaceflight.
Yeah, and the zero G indicator is a swan, right? Oh, there we go. Pad view of the liftoff. Look at that. You can see the crew access arm retracting the whole way.
By the way, so you're pointing out the 0G indicator is named Joy. It is a swan.
Yeah.
And it's very adorable, I want to add. That's my contribution to this conversation. That camera, by the way, is a bit in a giant cloud right now. There's a bit of a wider shot. You can see the green flash there in the bottom just before liftoff. There it is.
There we go.
That's the T-tap. And there it goes. Wonderful launch. I love it. It looked so bright.
There you can see that retraction, and the whole reason why the crew access arm sort of stays halfway in the retraction process is, you know, if they need to evacuate quickly or something, or they need to you know, in any case, just exit the vehicle quickly. That's why they have it sort of halfway in between. But when it lifts off, then why, you know, if it lifts off, you don't need that crew access arm to be there, so you just move it all the way back.
Absolutely. And that camera was adjusted a bit for brightness there. And there's the track.
Is this auto
That's
track?
one of ours.
Or is it a manual
back
track?
Not sure if this is auto track or not. But looks wonderful. Look at, I always love the candle plume of Falcon 9. Just looks so good. And you can now basically start to see the plume expansion a bit. So different how the plume changes over time in the matter of just a few seconds. Beautiful. And there's more.
We heard also earlier, you know, they were talking about, you know, service module checkouts on the Dracos. For example, those are the Draco thrusters that are sort of near the bottom of the Dragon as well. They have probably already opened the nose cone and everything to get ready for firing the bulkhead Dracos. There we go. Another replay.
I'm just excited right now that they illuminated the whole pad during liftoff, because that makes it easier to spot things for Starship.
Yep. We're already talking about some of those things, like, oh, here's the liquid oxygen, here's the liquid nitrogen, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good that they ignited it. Like, it helps.
Yeah. Good flame trench as well for Starship being dug.
He said that oh wait, it's not Friday.
It's not Friday, no. We may talk about it on Friday though, I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, who knows?
You see
I
that
think
flame
there's a
on
good
the...
chance we will talk about it.
Yeah, you see that flame on the left? That's normal. That is the T-tap. So the T-tap at liftoff, at ignition on the ground, it is supplied by the ground. So every Merlin is essentially, they have like a manifold that gets the T-tap to each of the Merlin engines, and that is stored on the ground, right? The only time that you see the Merlin engines lit up by the internal stuff on the Falcon 9, it is when it is in the air. So the Merlin engine on the second stage, for example, or the Merlin engines when it is doing the boost back, re-entry, and landing burns, those to get lit up, you know, by the T-tap on board. But when it is on the ground, you use what is on the ground. And so that flare, that burn off that you saw to the left of the screen, it's not that there's a fire on the pan, it's a burn off of the T-tap, you know, the remaining T-tap on the lines that go to the engines. The engines are no longer there, so they need to clear out those lines.
Wonderful. Yeah. The easiest way to clear out the lines is just to burn it up.
Yeah, it burns in contact with oxygen, so just vent it out and it burns off with the air. Oh, I'm seeing already Sawyer dropping some amazing views in the back channel, which... Oh, this one has audio.
And there it goes by.
That was a neat view of the umbilicals sort of being pulled out.
I think this might also have audio in a bit. Yep.
It's coming back. Wait for it.
It's so beautiful.
Just wait till you see the Falcon Nebula that he caught. It is...
It was so amazing. The nebula was insane.
Yeah, tonight with the eyes in particular, it was just... I don't know, it was extra special tonight for some reason. Maybe just because of how clear it was and the extra humidity. Just the way it lit up the sky was so nice.
That also, like, that giant fire streak there.
Yeah, again, the
Absolutely
colors this
insane.
evening were... Morning was... Yeah, money.
I agree. There it is. There comes the interaction. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Does it look like that, like, completely with the naked eye, Sawyer?
It does look like it with the naked eye, yes. It's... Maybe the colors don't always come across as much, because the camera, you can at least get a little bit more depth. But you still see the color, you still see just the interaction with the plume is beyond beautiful. I mean, that was spectacular. I will say, when it came for the landing, obviously we saw the entry burn, but man, that landing happened a little further behind us than we're used to. So I was a little shocked with that, but what a nebula.
Absolutely. Whew. That was an interesting view. I love that. It's rare that we get these, like, things that we have not seen 1,000 times on Falcon 9 at this point. But I think this is one we should talk about, Sawyer. I mean...
Yeah, speaking of the Falcon Nebula...
I mean, that's just a ridiculous shot. Looks like a galaxy nebula or something.
Yeah, you wonder why we call it the Falcon Nebula, especially in the stills. You can kind of see why. It looks like there's some kind of